Hi Creation, Bernice Lee here, your president. It's been 2 months to the day since my inaugural video recording to you, so I thought it was time for me to update you on the state of the chapter and our plans and goals for the coming months. So there are a few things that I would like to cover today. The first is just an overview of where we are as a chapter, where we were in the past, where we are now, and where we're headed. The second is a discussion about our goals. So specifically, I'd like to talk to you about number one, the number of referrals that's being transacted within the chapter. The second thing is the performance of the chapter. And the third is how to grow the chapter in terms of number of members. I'll also have a fourth agenda item, which is just very top level, what's happening and what will be happening in other areas of the LT outside of those top three priority areas. And then finally, the fifth agenda item in my remarks is two thoughts that I have about leadership. So I'll try to keep this very quick, but please do your best to listen to this whole video, because everything in here is really critical, and I need the cooperation of each and every one of you to make this term a success, both for you as an individual business owner and as a chapter overall. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is this. So for those of you who are visual learners, this is for you. So based on the analysis that I did of our chapter, chapter traffic light report and the member traffic light report, as well as my individual conversations with the majority of you by phone, this came up as probably the most pressing issue that the LT would like to work on this term, and that's to increase the number of referrals. Many of you have told me that you're just not getting enough referrals. Now, many of you like being in the chapter. You enjoy the level of professionalism and friendliness amongst members, and there's generally a high level of trust between all of us, but there's just something lacking, which is we would love to have, or you would love to have, more referrals. And I concur as a member myself. I think this is something that we can really work on. Let me just take a look at my notes here. Okay, so what I saw in the traffic light report for October is that compared to the month before in September, the number of one-to-ones increased, but the number of referrals stayed the same. So you might have noticed that I reinstituted the practice of putting aside 2 minutes during the meeting so that you can schedule a one-to-one meeting for the week. And the LT thought, well, by doing that, we can increase the chances of one-to-ones happening, right? Because you have to schedule them, and assuming that you keep the commitment, there will be referrals generated. Interestingly, the number of referrals from September to October stayed almost exactly the same. So that is why this last Tuesday, I asked each and every one of you for your verbal commitment to generate at least one referral in every one-to-one meeting that you do. So after you share about your business and what you're looking for, after you listen to your partner about what they're looking for, I invite you to commit to each other that there will be a follow-through, okay, on that commitment. So for me personally, once I leave BNI, I'm focused on my business, so it's easy for me to get distracted or busy with other priorities, and so what helps me is to try and generate a referral right then and there in the one-to-one, right? Write a note to myself and an email. You can come up with any system that works for you, but the key is for you to keep yourself accountable in the easiest way possible. I also want to invite you to hold each other accountable. So this might sound like a little bit scary to some people, but it doesn't have to be, right? Accountability is a core BNI value, and it's a core value for any leader, as I'm sure many of you know, as business owners. So hold each other accountable. If during a one-to-one meeting there is a commitment made, like, hey, I think there's somebody that I can introduce to you, or I need to take a few days to explore a potential referral for you. If you don't see any action from that member by Friday of that same week, I personally think it's okay. Send them a quick WhatsApp or give them a call and just ask them in a friendly way, hey, do you remember in our one-to-one, like earlier this week or last week, that we talked about this referral that you're going to work on for me? How's that going? Right? It can just be said in a very nice way. It doesn't have to be demanding or rude, like, oh, why didn't you get me this referral? Like, where is that going? Like, you always say you're going to do something for me, but you don't. So obviously you don't need to do that, right? But just give each other reminders. We all get busy. We all have other things to do. So just let's help each other remember to do what we say that we did. All right. So that's my invitation to you in terms of this first agenda item, which is to increase the number of referrals. I think it's awesome that you are doing more one-to-ones. Now let's take it to the next step and make sure there is action on the back of those great one-to-one meetings that you're having. Okay. The second thing I want to talk about is the performance of the chapter. And the performance of the chapter is measured by 2 reports. Hopefully you've all seen this, right? This is the member traffic light. I mean, I've marked it up a lot. Incidentally, at the leadership team level, we also take a look at a report that looks like this. Okay, this is the chapter traffic light. It shows basically the same information, but it has rolled up the data so that we can see the percentage of members that are in green, yellow, red, and black. Okay, so this chapter traffic light and the other one that I just showed you measures how active and productive we are as a group. The LT uses both reports in the same way that you look at your financial statements every week or every month, right? It shows, are we doing the activities that we need to be doing in order to be effective and efficient and getting the results we want, okay? So when you look at this report, it's a bit of an eye chart. These are the results, okay? Here we go. All right. So in terms of the percentage of members who were green, you can see in October, 11% of us were green. 43% of us were yellow, 39% of us were red, and 7% were in the black. The LT, after much discussion, has made a goal, which is that we want creation to go green, okay? To be a high-performing chapter. In my initial remarks, you probably would have remembered that I said, my whole wish and desire is to help each and every one of you do more business by being a high-performing chapter, right? So here's the goal for us to be high-performing by March of 2019. The goal is for 55% of us to be green, 25% of us to be yellow, 15% of us to be red, and then 5% of us to be black. I mean, ideally this would be 0, but we can be, realistic. Okay, so these are the goals, guys. This is what we're working towards. And let's see. I know we can do this because, you have told me as a group, and also visitors have told me that something that is valued both by members and by visitors is that the quality of our members is very high. Many of us are extremely professional as technicians, as business owners in our respective fields. And so I know that without a doubt, that level of high performance that you bring to your own companies is something that you can absolutely apply and bring into creation. So the next question that you may have is, well, okay, how are we going to achieve this as a chapter? After many discussions, the MC, led by Amy, has put together a subcommittee comprised of Amy, Alan, Alex, and Thomas, all of whom are MC members. Each of them will follow up individually with members in the coming days and weeks to ask you what you want to work on to rank up. So when I say rank up, what I mean is moving from one category to the next, like moving from black to red, red to yellow, yellow to green. Okay. Yes. So after this video, I will send out the member traffic light to you again on the WhatsApp. Please take a look at where you are in October. Come up with a plan that works for you, right? Whether it's, you want to work on doing more one-to-ones or doing more referrals or inviting more visitors, I leave that up to you because you're business leaders, right? And you are all busy. You are busy. And so I'd love for you to just take full ownership of your action plan. The subcommittee of the MC will work with you individually to help you support you in your plan. Okay, the LT, the extended LT, like all 7 to 8 of us, we've committed to support members like you to rank up. So of course we hope that you will take initiative to schedule more one-to-ones or give more referrals or invite more guests. However, we recognize that you may face challenges in these areas, right? You may be in a very busy time of your business and it feels very hard for you to carve out time for one-to-ones. Maybe you want to invite visitors, but you just feel like you can't get away from your business. You can't step out of it enough to go out to network. Or maybe you don't know where to network. Maybe you just feel really awkward networking. Okay, maybe you want to generate referrals for fellow members, but you're not quite sure how to do it. Maybe you feel a bit strange asking your friends and family and clients questions that are designed to unearth their need and then discover a need that could potentially be solved by a fellow member, right? So I get it. All of the LT members get it. All of us have experienced these challenges too, okay? So our promise is that whatever your challenge is, we are here to support you, to give you the right tools, the right education, even direct support to help you go green, okay? So at this point, some of you may wonder, well, what's the big deal about going green? I mean, who the heck cares, right? The point of being green is so that, number one, as I said before, as a chapter, if most of us are actively participating, actively contributing, that means that we are producing more business for each other. Okay, we should be generating more money. As a green member, you are going to be exercising the philosophy of giver's gain all the way, right? As you give more referrals, as you meet more people in the one-to-ones, your visibility in the chapter will go up, right? As you give meaningful referrals to people, your credibility goes up. And when all of that happens, creation members will trust you more and be more willing to open up their networks to you, and then your business will benefit. Okay, this is my intention, is that this promise, this possibility of you getting more business is not just a theoretical outcome. Okay, I don't believe in just sitting here and talking the talk. I think it's very important that we walk the walk. And so the extended LT has agreed that for every member that goes green in a certain month, we will support them with concrete actions. So it's not just like, oh yeah, you know, when you go green, these things should be happening for you. I mean, we are going to make sure things happen for you, that you enjoy the benefits of going green. And there are two main benefits that we commit to as an LT. Okay, number one is the LT, the extended LT, commits to generate referrals to the people who go green in that month. Okay, that's the reward, because that's what should be the reward. Second benefit has to do with the story that Bessie shared in this past Tuesday's NEC. She had said how green members are more likely to be referred out to other chapters. That is to say, for example, if another chapter wanted, if a member at another chapter wanted to partner with a profession that is not in their group, they might, at the president level, go onto the president's WhatsApp and ask who in your chapter is a green member and a bookkeeper. Okay, so other members in BNI want to collaborate. They want to maybe form a power team, but it's got to be with somebody they know is a giver, and that's measured by going green. And as a corollary to that, well, not corollary, but just on the back of that, that means if you go green and if you want it, I will work with you to see what opportunities are available in other BNI chapters in Hong Kong. Okay, so let's proactively do that instead of just waiting for somebody out there to say, oh, you know, do you know a dentist who's green, or do you know an accountant who's green? You know, I want you to be able to maximize the opportunity that the BNI platform gives to you. So when you go green, I want to be able to promote you. Does that make sense? I want to be able to say, guys, there are these like amazing green members in creation, and do you want to work with them? Okay, so those are the two benefits, like proactive benefits of going green this term under my leadership. Okay, so that's my commitment. Action, action, action for you guys. All right, so in summary, this is what we're working for. You know, most of us in green, a quarter of us in yellow, and then a smaller, like 20% of us in red and black together. Okay? All right. The next agenda item, the third agenda item that I want to address, that is related to the priority of increasing meaningful referrals for you. Okay? That is number 3, more members. As you know, we've lost a few members in the past few months, and what I'd like, so that means that our chapter growth is negative, right? So we're trending downwards. I'd like to turn that around so that we're trending upwards. Specifically, my goal is for us to add 2 new members every month until March. Okay, so on a net basis, our chapter is adding 2 members. Okay, and the way we do that is to have a structured, strategic approach to inviting visitors, and as a follow-on to that, converting them to members. This is why the LT decided to have 2 focused visitor days, one as you know, one next week, and then one in January, and then finally a big business opportunity day at the end of the term in March. So some of you know what a focused visitor day is, some of you don't. What you do need to know is that there is a purpose to these days, right? The purpose, first and foremost, is to aid in that strategic inviting of guests by having a laser focus, right? Next week is about health and wellness. We want to add members to those categories, and having that specificity, as Tarek said, specific is terrific, right? As long as we are more specific, it'll make it easier for each one of us to really add members with the intention. So I want to say that, with intention of growing the chapter. So this is not like a random exercise, it's intentional. Okay. The second purpose is of having the 2 focused visitor days, 1.5 months apart, is to help us all as a group to practice inviting, right? It's just, BNI is like a business gym, okay? So the focused visitor day, I think so far it's fantastic. I mean, you guys are awesome, right? We're going to get 20 guests next week. I just know it in my bones. Like, we're very, very close. The plan is we'll aim more for next time in January. Okay, more than 20 guests. And then by March, when we have the Business Opportunity Day, which is a big, big, big event, it's basically a big recruitment drive for new members, I believe we can get 50 guests, maybe 60 guests, maybe 70 guests, okay? So Focus Visitor Day is a responsibility. It is an opportunity for all members to practice inviting visitors, okay? We're going to Business Gym, okay? The third purpose is, as I mentioned when we launched the FVD, is to reward action takers in the chapter, right? It is about giving more visibility to members who proactively and effectively build trust with one another and truly act together to achieve a common goal as a team, right? So in the past, focus visitor days were not really teams, okay? There were presentations, there were group presentations, but it wasn't really reflective of a functioning team. And so I wanted to promote that, nurture that, and reward that with how we ran the FVD this time around, okay? So you might not be in the health and wellness team, so you might think, well, I'm not in that team, so who cares, right? It has nothing to do with me. Adding an extra doctor has nothing to do with me, so I'm not going to bother inviting anybody. So I invite you to just kind of think about that a little bit differently. Yes, that person might not directly be able to give you a referral or vice versa, but remember that that person has a whole network behind them. And you don't know who they know, right? They might actually have people in their network that would be very valuable to your business. You never know. And so for that reason, it serves all of us to pitch in and invite somebody for, every week, first of all, and then more specifically to the Focus Visitor Day. Okay, so we've done really great. I'm very proud of the group so far. If you've invited guests, thank you very much. I know it's not easy to invite guests, right? On average, you have to invite 20 people before one says okay. So I get it. So thank you. If you have not invited any guests for next week, then tomorrow is a great day to invite and then follow up again on Monday. So like I said in the WhatsApp group, I'm calling the shot, guys. Let's shoot for 20, okay? So more members means more money. More members means more money, right? That means we need more visitors to convert them into members. Okay. The fourth item is just a very quick teaser of what else is happening at the LT level. So I just want you guys to focus on these first three things that I talked about. But other things that are cooking, that are in the works, that you'll hear more about next month are our digital marketing strategy. So David Lowe is going to lead the effort on coming up with a more comprehensive, progressive, and effective marketing strategy to get creation members more visibility online and get our Facebook page, just better, higher quality content and get us more visibility in the entrepreneur community of Hong Kong in preparation for BOD, right? So in BOD, we want it to be this big thing. We want people to come. We want this to be like an amazing event. Okay, want to be the talk of the town. And so David's working on that. So more details on that next time. And you'll also see that Richard will be focusing his NEC very intentionally, very purposefully on the three things that I mentioned, the three priorities that I mentioned before, right? How to generate more referrals, how to generate quality referrals, how to go green, right? How to invite more effectively. So you'll notice that we're going to be giving you education in those areas to really help you go green, be effective. Next thing is coming down the line is a review of the mentoring program, increasing conversions of visitors to members, and then team building. So on the last one, I think you guys have already seen, super excited. We have the happy hour happening tomorrow. So I hope a lot of you show up, make sure you sign up. And there's the dinner on Saturday. December, there's the farm lunch, and then there might be a Christmas thing coming up. So when it comes to this sort of thing, I've said it before, guys, this chapter is yours, right? This chapter is yours. So if you have comments or ideas on how to make this a better place for you to do business, please let me know. Please let an LT member know, and we will take it under consideration. We might not be able to implement everything right away because there's a lot going on already, a lot of change. But yeah, please, register your thoughts with us. And this is creation. So you want to create a new reality for yourself. It's up to you. I put that on you guys. Okay. I'm just a conduit to help this all happen for you. Finally, last agenda item, number 5, is that I wanted to offer 2 of my thoughts on leadership. Okay. In my inaugural video message, I told you about my experience working in a factory, right? It was a turnaround story. When I joined it, it was one of the worst manufacturing facilities in North America. Within 2 years, it became one of the top performing plants in the North American supply chain. And one of the most important factors in that turnaround, out of all many factors, was the leadership team. Like, the leadership team of that plant consisted of men and women of their word. When they said they do something, they do it. Okay? They kept their promises. When an employee raised a valid concern, they listened. The LT listened. If there was a suggestion, they would evaluate it carefully, and if it made sense to do, they would implement it with the help of the employees themselves. And you know, I said it before and I say it again. I mean, that is the standard by which I hold myself as a leader. It's my expectation of my leadership team that we all act with integrity. And by integrity, I'm very specific. It's not just about like doing the right thing when nobody's watching and being honest and genuine and authentic. It's not just about that, but it's really fundamentally this. Like, you do what you say, right? We're accountable. We hold ourselves accountable and we hold each other accountable so that we can be better. Okay. So I invite you to think about this for yourself, right? Each one of you is a business owner or a self-employed person like me. And so whether you are a leader of 50 people or 30 people or a leader of yourself like me, you can I suggest that, and I invite you to think about, you know, are you being full of integrity for the people in your business, right? Do you do what you say? Do you do what you say for your clients? Okay. Do you do what you say you will do for yourself? All right. And holding yourself up to that standard can be really hard. Honestly, like, you know, I'm a victim. I'm a procrastinator. Okay. I'm a super procrastinator. And so that integrity about doing what you say applies to self-leadership as well as leadership to others. Okay. So, so that's the first thing. The second thing that I invite you to think about is something that really changed my mindset in the last 2 years or so. It's something that one of my mentors shared with me, and it was very powerful. He said that the game you play, like now, in this setting of BNI, like, he's not a BNI person, but just imagine the game you are playing now in BNI. Is it the same game that you are playing in your business? Right? So if you're playing a small game in BNI and you're just, you know, doing the minimum, are you just doing the minimum in your business? Right? Or if you're playing full out in your business, can you play full out in BNI too? But more importantly, this just a self-reflection about BNI can be a mirror, a mirror that you hold up to yourself, and you know, a mirror that you hold up to yourself, and more importantly, you can ask yourself, well, if there's something that's stopping you from inviting visitors, then ask yourself, is it stopping you from growing sales in your business? Right? Is this idea of approaching somebody you don't really know and asking them questions that unearth a need and then presenting an offer to them, is that easy for you in your business, or is it hard in your business? If it's hard for you to invite a visitor, do you see that showing up elsewhere in your business? Like, if something is stopping you from giving referrals, is that also stopping you from building effective partnerships outside of BNI? Right? Is it stopping you from contributing your maximum value to potential clients? Okay, do you get my point, right? So BNI is, like I said, it's like a business gym. It's a place for you to kind of explore for yourself. How are you showing up? How are you showing up in the world? How are you showing up in your business? And if there is something that is stopping you, or something that is holding you back from fully performing in BNI, this is a safe, structured environment where you can actually start working on that for yourself and maybe have a breakthrough. right? If you have trouble inviting visitors because you never go networking, well, this is the perfect opportunity for you to, on behalf of BNI, just start inviting people, right? And then that will help you in your own business. You'll be you can more easily cold call, for example. You can do business development more effectively, right? So that's my invitation to you, is just to reflect on these two things about self-leadership and leadership. The first is just integrity. Do what you say. Be accountable to yourself. Be accountable to, the members around you. Be accountable to your clients. Be accountable to your employees. And the second is this question you can ask yourself, which is, how can you use BNI to develop your leadership and play a bigger game, right? And as I said to you earlier, I want you to play a bigger game. I want to help you play a bigger game. So you go green. I want all the chapter presidents to know about you, right? That's the invitation for you. That's the opportunity for you. There are like hundreds and hundreds of BNI members around Hong Kong and Shenzhen and all of that. So imagine what would happen if all of those people knew who you were and you had a great reputation, right? You become the go-to person. So I want that for you. But at the same time, you got to help yourself, right? Help me, help you. Okay? So those are the 3 key priorities we talked about. Some amazing stuff coming down the line. And then finally, just an invitation for you to reflect on your leadership for this coming month. So keep inviting for Tuesday. I'm super excited. It's been a long time since we've had 20 visitors come visit our chapter. So keep up the energy, keep up the momentum, and I'll see you all guys on Tuesday.